Theo, as a young, very young man, well, boy, really, weren't you? That pace to run behind teams and the ability to finish with both feet.
Yeah, I mean, I watched Michael Owen. He was my idol going into football. When I saw him at 98 against Argentina, I just felt I started to like football, and I moulded my game around him, and it was very similar styles. Wanted to play up front, not the biggest stature, but had raw pace and knew my strengths and wanted players to play to my strengths. And that's why I had these connections with Kwasi and Delap, and at times he had that long throw, I remember, and it worked in my favour. And at times then I might get drifted out on the right, but then go back in the middle. And I had periods at the time in my whole career when people were like, what position are you? And I just
Did you always want to play centre forward?
I did always want to play centre forward. And then at times when you play over three, playing on your own, as someone of my stature, it's not ideal where the game was developing and the period of football was changing. And it didn't quite work in that sense. But there was patches where I felt, do you know what, it could work.
I think when the systems changed, probably in the mid-2000s, when people started doing 4-3-3, Jose came in and played at Sam Allardyce, was playing a lot at Bolton. And I think you're talking about Michael Owen being someone you looked up to. You think of sort of Jermaine Defoe, probably think of yourself as a striker. Those type of strikers found it really difficult to play in a team. You know, so you end up moving out wide, but someone like a Michael or a Jermaine Defoe found it very difficult to work with deep. Michael actually ended up playing deeper when he was at Newcastle at one stage because he couldn't be that lone frontman.
Well, I was never that player to get it to the feet and hold up and get people involved. I wanted space. People like we're talking about Salah, time on the ball and making those runs. That was my game. So play to players' strengths at that moment in time. And that's when I got drifted out on the right, and I made that my position my own. I scored a lot of goals, out of over 108 goals for Arsenal. You know,
we'll get a graphic with that on.
Thank you, I'll be higher up that one. But no, it was...
You had the lightning pace, you had the finishing ability, and really it felt like you had the world at your feet when you were scoring those goals at Southampton, and everybody was talking about you. So why did you choose Arsenal? Because there were options for you at that stage. There
was. Chelsea, Liverpool were options at the time. Man United came in very late, which I was unaware of, but to be honest, my mind was already made up as soon as this man Arsene Wenger got involved, and I actually remember going back to his place with David Dean, and I mean, sofa's a little bit lower than this. His legs were higher than his actual face itself, Arsene being how tall he was. I'll never forget that image, it was very unusual. And Thierry Henry, of course, was a player that I really inspired to learn from as well. And as soon as I had Arsenal involved, I was like, I just want to go there and play with him. It was my dream to play with someone like that. And you ask any kid who you get an opportunity to play with your star, you're going to do it. And it was an easy option for me.
Did you speak to any of the other clubs?
No, I didn't personally speak to them. I'm sure my team did at the time, but...
you're one of them who's got a team. You got a team.
I had an agent. All I worried about was just playing football. That's all I cared about. And as soon as Arsenal came into the picture, I was like, I don't need to know anything else. Yeah. You can talk all you want, but I don't need to know about anything else. Arsenal was always going to be the main goal. Though I did read in your book that someone from Liverpool had phoned your house and spoken to your brother, and apparently they had thought that they were speaking to you. Really? Goodness me, yes. You've forgotten what you actually put in the book, but I've read it. It was a long time ago. Well, yeah, we actually do speak alike, that's for sure. But yeah, again, it's one of those situations where it was never I was never going to change my mind. Yeah. It didn't matter if Man United came in late. I was always set to go to Arsenal. It was a good right suit for me.
It was probably Stevie Gerrard, because whenever we wanted to get a player, get Stevie to phone them, all right, seal the deal. So it was probably Stevie Gerrard, I would imagine.
Goodness me.
But isn't it extraordinary that there you were at such a young age? I think just 17 by the time we moved to the summer. And here you are, getting a call up from our dearly departed Sven-Göran Eriksson to be in his England squad to go to Germany in 2006 without having played a single minute for Arsenal.
When you say that out loud, you look at it now, it's not right. It really isn't. You think of now players that we talk about young players and they're 23, 22, 17.
Was it right then?
Sorry?
Was it right then? You say it's not right now, but was it right then?
No, it wasn't. I've said this clearly in many years that I should never have gone. There's other players that have experienced and played at the highest level, and I was new to the game, but the disappointment bit was not actually playing. That was, of course, the part where I think Wayne got sent off. I think I had the chance to come on if he didn't get sent off. But look, that was the passion he played with, and that was just one of those things that didn't work for me in that end. But what I did take away from it was what I enjoyed was the football and all the circus that come with it. I didn't want to be part of, because for me it was all about playing, enjoying my football at this time. And yeah, it was a really tricky moment when I'm consoling people like John Terry, who's won many things and many caps for England, and I'm a 17-year-old boy who's thinking, you shouldn't even be here. You shouldn't even be here.
Did you...
You were there,
I was in the squad.
You were there. Were you one of those? Shouldn't have been there.
No, but listen, looking at Sven there, sadly passed away. He's had a great managerial career, and we thank him for the caps that we got. We were involved in England, but it was one of those where I don't know you, I've never really seen you play. You're delighted you're in the squad yourself, and then you go, "Where's Theo Walcott come from?" That's just And I actually think you're probably so excited, your family can't believe it. 17-year-old going to the World Cup. This is amazing. How many 17-year-olds go to a World Cup? So it's something that you should be really joyful. I'm sure you were at the time. But actually, when you look back a little bit now, I don't think it did you any favours as a player, because I think people are thinking, oh, we've got the next Michael Owen, or Pele went to the World Cup and won the World Cup at 17. You're thinking, he must be out of this world class, going to be one of the best players England's ever had to go to a World Cup at that age. So I think that actually put undue pressure on you in terms of your career.
No, I do, because I'd say about the book Growing Up Fast, I had to grow up fast in a man's game without any experience at all. And I was a player at times would keep a lot in. So I wouldn't want to openly talk to people because I couldn't relate, because the age gap was it was a lot.
So the actual experience of going away from home to that tournament, being part of the training camp, was it a difficult experience for you?
It was a difficult experience, more the fact when I wasn't playing. When you weren't playing football, when you're training, that was what I loved, that's what I enjoyed. And then when it comes match days...
There's a lot of downtime though, isn't there?
Well, yeah, that's always the other side. But I because of Ashley Cole and Sol Campbell, I got on very well. They looked after me at Arsenal. I had people I could go to and speak to if needed. But, the games room, at being at that age, I was always just wanted to do games or anything like that. That took my mind away from actually the bigger picture of, goodness me, you're at a World Cup. So it never really hit me until my older head now, that's for sure.
You're going in there as a young kid, and there's so much spoken about that squad. The golden generation, there was cliques in there. Now, we're all sort of seasoned pros. I think I would have been 28, 29 at that World Cup. You're a young kid in there. What are you thinking looking at that squad? What's your take from that squad when you hear people speak about that, that time under Sven and as I said, the golden generation?
I mean, you said it there, the golden generation, and I'm part of this golden generation without actually deserving to be in this situation right now. And I didn't choose that upon me. I felt maybe at times I could have maybe been protected in some cases, which were saying, let's develop him in the background a bit. And I couldn't do that. So I had to really speed up my process of development. And it was at times, when you get a bad injury, I had a very bad injury. That was the one time in my career, I'm 25, when I could actually take a step back and think, all right, I can now actually work on myself. I missed out on a lot of that side of it coming through the academy, where you do those development sides of things, and I never did that. I had to do it with everyone looking. So that was it was a really interesting and hard part of my career. But look, when I look back at it now and I think, do you know what? Did well in considering what went on in my life that young.
Just before we fast forward from the World Cup experience, were there players in the group that looked after you? Not looking at anyone.
No, do you know what? Everyone was great. That's the thing. At times, look, I knew I shouldn't have been there, but the team I never felt that from the team. Players might have spoken away from it, which is fine, but they never put that pressure on me. They always looked after me. On the training day, I would always hold my own. And even John Terry and Rio Fern have already spoken about me and Lennon coming at them. I'm sure I've come at you quite a few times as well. He's put me on my backside. But we stood up and were noticed then. And that was the only disappointment I'd take away from it. With the unknown going into World Cup would have been something different that, obviously, sadly, we didn't see.